Welcome back, guys. This is Mr. David. Last time we were talking about how to find the discriminant. Okay. Now the second part now is to use the quadratic formula to solve the quadratic equation. Okay. We're going to use the quadratic formula to find the quadratic equation. Okay. Remember, our quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Okay. And we were able to find the determinant or the discriminant. The formula was this: delta equal to b squared minus 4ac. So today we're going to use that in order to solve the quadratic equation. Okay? We're going to use the quadratic formula. What is the quadratic formula? It's right here. It's x equal to negative b plus or minus square root of delta over 2a. So since this is a continuation from the discriminant lesson, we're just going to use the same example that we used from the discriminant lesson, okay, to solve. So if you remember, here's the first example. X squared minus 10x minus 11 equal to 0. Okay, and we were able to quickly find the discriminant. What did we do? Step 1, we identify A, B, C. Step 2, we plug into delta, b squared minus 4ac, and we got 144. And we realize, oh, this is where delta is positive. And if you remember, if delta is positive, we have two real roots. Okay. So what I want you to do quickly, as soon as you find your discriminant, okay, to make it easy for you, go ahead and find the square root of that number. Find the square root. What is the square root of 144? Well, 144, we break it down, or if you use your calculator, it's 12 times 12. So the square root of 144 is 12. Okay. So you find this right here, the square root of delta. The square root of delta is 12. The square root of delta. See, once you find that, it's easy now to plug in it. Okay, so let's see. X is minus b plus or minus square root of delta over 2 times a. So let's see what it gives us. What is negative b? Okay. B is negative 10. So negative 10, close the parentheses, plus or minus. I'm going to use a different color for that. Plus or minus square root of delta. We just find square root of delta here. Here it is. It's 12. So plus or minus 12 over 2 times a. 2 times a. What is a? A is invisible 1. A is 1. Okay. Now let's see if we can simplify this. Negative times negative 10 is positive 10. So it gives us 10 plus or minus 12. I'm going to use the different color again. Plus or minus 12 over 2 times 1. What is 2 times 1? It's 2. Okay, so that gives us two answers, right? One is 10 plus 12 over 2. Okay. 10 plus 12 over 2. 10 plus 12 over 2. The other one is 10 minus 12. See? Minus, that's the second one. Okay. 10 minus 12 over 2. Okay. So what is 10 plus 12? That's 22. 22 divided by 2. That's 11. So this is one of the answers. Here's the second answer. 10 minus 12. 10 minus 12 is negative 2. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. So we have two answers. One is 11. The other one is negative 11. Okay, so basically what happens is we start with the formula. Negative b plus or minus square root of delta over 2a. And we know since delta is positive, we have two solutions. So the two solutions, we could separate them in solution 1 and solution 2. So here's solution 1, the one that has the plus. Here's solution 2, the one that we have the minus in the middle. So I could call this one solution 1, this one solution 2. Okay, so these are my two solutions. Okay, so if you want to write your answer correctly, it will be your solution 11 and negative 1 or negative 1 and 11. It doesn't matter which one you want to write first. Okay. Remember, it's not parentheses. Okay. It's at the bracket. Okay. So make sure you don't write parentheses. So you could write it like this. Okay. Or you could just write x1 equal to 11, x2 equal to -1. Either one is fine. Okay, either one will be just fine. Okay, so that's the case where your delta, your discriminant, is positive. When your discriminant is positive, you could go ahead quickly and find the square root of the discriminant. Okay, so let's see what happens when it is not. So for example 2, right, we're going to use the same example from the previous lesson. We're going to solve 9x squared minus 6x plus 1 equal to 0. Okay. Remember, quickly, step 1, identify your ABC. Step 2, we did it already. We find delta, the discriminant, which is happened to be 0. As soon as it's 0, you know what it is. What is the square root of 0? Okay. Plug in 0 for delta. We find square root of 0, just like we did for here, right? When it was 144, we find square root of delta. So let's find square root of delta. That means square root of 0. What is square root of 0? Is 0. Boom. Okay. So now we're using the same value and we plug it into our quadratic formula. Okay. So when delta is 0, we have one solution, one real solution. Sometimes they call it one double solution. Sometimes they just say one real solution or one root. Okay. It's the same. So we're going to plug in negative b plus or minus 0 over 2a. But we know anything plus 0 or anything minus 0 is irrelevant. It's just the thing. Okay, so this will give us negative b over 2a. So anytime delta is 0, your solution is that, negative b over 2a. Okay, so let's plug it in. What is our, okay, let's have a negative. I'm going to use different colors so we don't get it confused. Negative, okay. What is b? Well, remember, b is negative 6 in this, okay. Minus negative 6 over 2 times a. 2 times a. What is a? A is 9. Okay. So negative times negative is positive, so we have positive 6 over 2 times 9. 2 times 9 is 18. Can you reduce this fraction? Yes. Anytime you can reduce a fraction, guys, you must reduce it. Okay? So it gives us 1 over 3. Okay? That's as far as we could go for this one. So the answer for this problem where delta is 0 is x equal to 1 over 3. Only one solution. Okay? It has only one solution because the square root of 0 is 0. We have only one solution. So remember, if delta is 0, one solution. If delta is if delta is positive, we have two solutions. Okay? When delta is 0, one solution. When delta is greater than 0 or positive, we have two solutions. Okay? And what was the last one? Well, we remember the last one is when delta is negative. When delta is negative, we just stop right there. Oh, there's no real solution. Okay, we stop. As soon as delta is negative, you stop, you say, oh, no real solution. Okay, so basically that's it, guys. Okay, remember the rule. If it's too fast, just rewind it, go back, watch it again. Okay, delta positive, two solutions. Delta is 0, one solution. Delta is negative, no real solution. Okay, no real root. That's the rule. What is the discriminant formula? It's delta equal to b squared minus 4ac. What do we use it for? We use it for the quadratic formula. What is the quadratic formula? Negative b plus or minus square root of delta over 2a. Okay? Or you can rewrite it if you want this way. Okay? You could plug in the value for delta here. Okay? So it gives you negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, see, over 2a. Is the same formula. The same exact formula. okay? Minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. That's your quadratic formula, okay? This right here. Quadratic formula. But it's easier not to write the whole thing under the square root. Because look, this is so messy. Why you want to plug in all the numbers under the square root? It gets you confused sometimes. That's why we simplify for you. We find delta outside, then we plug in it. It's easier. Okay? All right, guys. See you next time or see you in class.